Welcome to greencardguys.tv. You need to know this. Do not give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. Hey, what's going on? If you are delayed with your remove conditions case, this live show is for you. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm your host, John Ting, and here to solve immigration problems or maybe even prevent it from happening in the first place. Folks, we got a good one today, and because there's a lot of people thinking they're in a good spot. They, stayed married, got passed through the first 2 years of marriage or resident period, or conditional resident status. All right, that's good news. And you file the remove conditions. You got a notice in the mail that said, receipt notice that it auto extended your conditional resident status for 4 years, more specifically 48 months. This sounds amazing, but is it really? It used to be auto extension for 12 months. And even then, that was a problem because in the sense that, if you needed to travel and it was past that 12 months and your case was still processing, then yes, that's where a problem happens. And it's better to have a 48-month extension because, when you want to travel abroad, you can show that original receipt notice showing the extension. And so what the government's trying to do is delay, prevent you from even having to go to the InfoPass appointment at the local USCIS field office, because the purpose of going there is to get a stamp indicating 551. It's essentially the form number for the stamp to show resident status. So essentially this original receipt notice, it feels like a currency. It's a set 8.5 by 11, but essentially, they're trying to save you from even having to go there. So that's great. That's nice. But at the same time, USCIS knows that they are so freaking slow to process these 751 cases that they just gave an auto extension for 48 months. So it's a good thing and bad thing at the same time, but more practically, I think it's a good thing so that you don't have to deal with, when you want to travel abroad. It's just less headache on that part, because especially during the Trump administration, they were essentially making it very difficult for people to even go to the field office for that stamp. Okay. So, and not only that, they didn't have it auto extended to 48 months. I think it was under President Biden administration, they extended to 36 months and now 48. Okay. So if anything, you can consider that a good thing for the blue party. Okay. For all the foreign nationalist immigrants. Now, here's the deal. Now, people still ask, well, is there anything I can do about applying to become a citizen? Now, some people think that they might not be able to apply for it because you have your pending 751 case. But actually, you can still file N-400. You can do that online. It's amazing. They finally just allowed it. Before, I think it was only the petition to be allowed to file online. Now, is it a great system? No, it's not that amazing, but we work with it. In some cases, we do use the online system, and they don't allow this anymore, or they don't do this, but it used to be where it's like instantaneous or simultaneous receipt notice when you file online, hit submit. They don't do that anymore. I think usually it takes like an extra day or two, and you definitely will get in the mail, but they will give you the receipt number, okay, as soon as you file click submit. So that's at least one good thing. Now, so let's say a scenario, maybe you're married, whether you're in a strong marriage, you're sticking through it, or you're just going through it, sticking through it. And, it's been 3 years of resident status. Even if it's conditional resident status, even if it's through auto extension, it's okay. When it hits 3 years, or actually you can file with up to 3 months before the 3-year mark. So that means basically 90 days, up to 90 days for the 3-year mark. You can file early. Okay. You don't have to wait exactly the 3-year mark. Now, the 3-year mark is for people who are still married to the person who sponsored them. Maybe you are married now, but to someone else, then that's different. Then you're not eligible for the 3-year, okay, filing. But you can now let's say you are divorced or you're separated, then you can't file to become a citizen until the 5-year mark. Now I'm saying this based on if your original sponsorship was through family. Now, if it's through employment, you got resident status through your company or national interest waiver, self petition, then yeah, the default is already 5 years anyway. So these tips today is just based on if someone obtained residency through marriage. Okay, then you're eligible for the 3 years to file N400 in 3 years. So that's great. You can file the N400 even when your remove conditions application 751 is still pending. And it 99.9% of the time will still be pending. And it's just the way the government works. I don't know why they do that. Maybe they just, yeah, it's just strange. Very strange. We're very fortunate that we've only had a couple cases that clients required to have an interview when it's 751. And that's typically when they divorce. So that's the other thing aside from, so the topic here today is how do you speed up your remove conditions case. So by filing your N400, if you're eligible at the 3-year mark, that is what speeds up the remove conditions application, that form, okay, the 751. Now, another hot tip here, bonus tip here is that if you are aware about the remove conditions, but you filed the wrong form, this happens where people file the I-90. And I understand because, USCIS is not very clear, but because I-90, when you go to uscis.gov website, it does show I-90 to replace or renew resident status. So some people might think renew could mean the same thing as remove conditions. No, it's not. It's completely different. They like to confuse. When they confuse, they win. We don't want the government to win in this situation, okay? We want to get you the legal status, get that continued. All right. Some people have some wild stories where they, I'll save that for a second. But anyway, you're welcome to drop in the comment section some questions or share your experience if others can, use that information for themselves. Okay, interesting question there. All right, I don't know if I can answer that one since that's not immigration related. But anyway, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, happy to answer your questions. And on your respective platform, if you don't mind, give it a follow, subscribe down below, click the bell for all future notifications so you'll get notified of all our future videos. If we annoy the heck out of you, you might want to change the bell thing. But it's we're just all about sharing advice, sharing tips, anything like red flags. Maybe you can avoid those problems. And really, at the end of the day, even if it's not really a problem per se, but maybe you're just concerned, right? You're maybe a little anxious about your legal status or the pending application, or even for the next step. Which we just got a question about that yesterday, about next step after petition. So if you have questions like that, just comment below in any of the past videos, and I'm happy to record a video about it. Now, of course, everyone knows it's a lot easier to do that on TikTok, to record another video. So if there's a short thing, I'll do that. I'll respond that way. Let's see here. But again, how to speed up removal conditions case. There is no expedite request for this application type, 751, unfortunately. Right now, as far as I know, it's generally for the I-130 petition with USCIS. It's also allowed for the 765 work permit, and I believe also for the advanced parole 131 form. The National Visa Center does also have their own expedite request process, okay? But they're for limited reasons. But if you're not sure if you do qualify for that, we do have a free guide that our team can email you. Okay, so yeah, so you can do that to get that going. So in terms of N400, Some people wonder, well, okay, if I file the N-400, what happens? I got this 751K still pending processing. That's what it shows online. So here's the deal. In our cover letter to the USCIS, we let them know, by the way, here's a receipt number of the other pending case right now. So at the time that you have your interview or scheduled interview, please note that there's this other file, because you don't want to go to a situation, which I've heard about this, where you get scheduled for your naturalization interview. You get there, everything's great. You go through the test, civics exam, all that, pass, and then you realize, or maybe the officer finally realized, oh, your 751 application is still pending. I don't have the file, which would be strange, right? Because 2023, everything should be online, but you just never know. Some offices may still require the physical file. Okay. Well, I know they do because they still print everything, even though everything's like scanned in their system, which at least they do that once they receive your package in the mailroom. But for some reason, they just feel like they need to physically see it. So because of that, that can delay cases, right? So that's why with us, our team, we notify USCIS to let them know the current pending application. That way, by the time it goes to interview, schedule for interview, that there's less delay. Okay, because timing is everything. We completely get it. The sooner you're able to become a citizen, maybe you're able to sponsor another family member, right? So at least if it's your sibling, I know you might have some difficulty with your siblings in the past, maybe right now, but check this out. This is my tip, okay? Help out your siblings if they're abroad and don't have a legal status, and maybe you want to, and maybe your sibling says, "Nah, it's good. It's good, bro. I don't want to live in America. I'm good here. I got a really good job. All my family's here. We're keeping it chill. I don't have to pay as much property tax or whatnot in America, right? I get that, but still do them a favor. Just file the petition for them, the I-130, because most countries it's a 10-year wait time just to after the petition, right? You file the petition. That's only step number one, and then it's waiting for the visa bulletin, and that really is the thing that slows people down. Okay, and because I hear this almost every week. I want to file for my sibling. What do I do now? Just want to make sure. Most people already know the steps, but we're happy to explain anyway. But yeah, the it's very unfortunate because by the time the sibling that's abroad, the foreign national, asks the U.S. citizen sibling, "Hey, can you sponsor me?" Yeah, sure, but like, dude, I told you about this 10 years ago. By the time you ask me now, you could have been, had an interview, right? So they don't have to, your sibling who's outside America, foreign national, doesn't have to sign the foreign petition. Only you do. Of course, you need to know some basics. But anyway, our team thinks about the future, even if it's 10 years out, as best we can. Now, but sometimes, but yeah, anyway, even if you don't want your sibling here, that's just what I recommend. A nice little gift. Pay that $535 now. Get your ticket in line for the priority date, essentially, for the visa bulletin. All right, so I see some questions here. All right, Smiley, let's see what you got here. You ask, what about EB2 interview priority retroed using H1 versus EAD with any other opportunity in the meanwhile? Sounds like you're here in America right now with H1B. Hopefully, you're in a situation where you can renew your H1B continuously in the meantime. Smiley, what is your country of nationality? Any other opportunity? So I think that I'm inferring that maybe your H1B is expiring and maybe you're not able to renew it or recapture unused time in the past. Okay. If that's the situation, then yeah, you definitely need to schedule a consultation, because we had a similar consultation where earlier today, which I can share with you, I'm not sharing the person's name or anything, that the person had a voluntary departure or order removal. People have that kind of situation, but a company is willing to sponsor them. There could be opportunities that you could be eligible for, like a TN visa or L visa, or maybe if that company wasn't initially thinking that you were going to franchise, but if you want to do like an e visa, That e-visa is called in treaty trader or investor visa, but I like to call it business, basically like a business visa, essentially, or a franchise visa. It's not perfect in that scenario, but a lot of franchises um, is offered because of the e-visa. Okay, and not every country of nationality or not every country is on the list as a treaty country. Treaty trader country is what we call it, and that's listed on the Department of State website. We have a free guide on it that's on our website as well. Go to greencardguys.com and you'll get that list. Just go click on the investor visa guide. All right. So, which by the way, people ask like, how much money do I invest? It definitely has to be something. And when I say invest, your money has to be put in. The government calls it at risk, meaning you don't have access to it essentially. All right. So that you've already spent it. No, so that is allowed by e-visa. Typically, a rule of thumb, and not even though all communist countries that I'm aware of is not on this treaty list. Um, some are not. Some countries that are not on the list are not necessarily communist government structure either. So you still need to download that free guide, investor guide, on our website, greencardguys.com. Check it out. Uh, if you're new to the channel, welcome. You might not know this, but we do offer free 15-minute preliminary discussion. See if we can answer your question. No cost to you. Okay. Now, of course, if you want more time, if like 30 minutes, you want guarantee to speak with me specifically, then we do charge a consultation fee, $149 with one of our premier associates or $199 with me just to secure it. But I do jump into some consultations as a nice surprise, but the default, the consultation is not necessarily with me. Just because I have a busy schedule. I got to do a lot with managing the team and managing client files, of course. So let's see here. Oh, your prior date retroed after the interview. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, do you just wait? No, hell no, you don't just wait. Okay. Someone said, someone said McDonald's Big Breakfast sounds good right now. It sure does, actually. But I don't. Which, by the way, I don't know if McDonald's offer a franchise to foreign nationals, but McDonald's definitely is way more expensive as a franchise, right? Maybe Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A, I have a friend that works at Chick-fil-A headquarters in Georgia, but yeah, they what's it called? They have a long process, which understandable. We kind of have that same with the hiring process, a little bit longer than most people, just because we want to make sure for example, an attorney or any other team member has our core values, has the right fit, and of course understands why we care about customer service and why it's important for y'all. Was I an immigrant? No, I was not. I was born in America, but for my family's from Taiwan, technically. My parents, and yeah. Let's see. Thanks for asking. A little history there. So, if folks don't know, a little, I guess you could say, political history. Some people may call me Chinese, but I like to call myself Taiwanese American. But the at least amongst Chinese Taiwanese people, for people born in America, we call ourselves ABC, American Born Chinese, for short. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining. Let's see. Any other questions? I think, yeah, but back to Smiley, priority retro dated after interview. Do you just wait? No, I would still fight for it. I would still see if there's a way, and especially depending when it retroed, right? Because if it was timely at the moment that you had the interview, then you should be still entitled to the visa. And of course, you may have, if you've watched my other videos, regardless of platform, you don't want to give up, okay? Don't just wait, because a lot of people at the visa interview stage, the officers, I don't know what goes on internally, but let's say you qualify, you pass, quote unquote, pass the interview, pass in the sense that there's no grounds of inadmissibility, aka no reasons to legally deny your visa, or you're essentially getting a visa issued to you, then they still delay you. They might ask you for 221G. They basically the law saying I need XYZ document, ABC document, or they might not even say anything, and you're still, or you need to fill out a DS 5535, like all this crap. You would think, or the background security check, all these steps. You would think the government will do that beforehand. No, they don't. Some countries don't even require biometrics before the interview. Some do. It's just a ridiculous process. I'm very sorry that you all have to go through this, but just some things you need to know for the future when you apply. Because some people, we apply for the petition first, of course, and then after that, especially if you're from China or India, you have the long wait time for the visa because of visa bulletin, and then you finally have your interview 3 years later, 10 years later, and then somehow the government officer or visa officer says, yeah, we need a couple documents. That's going to piss you off. That pisses off attorneys for sure. It's very frustrating. So so someone asked, they're just about to authorize us to help them, but they asked really great questions, and about that last stage. Okay, what are some reasons someone could get denied? So we're gonna have a video. That reminds me, we're gonna have a video about that. I'm probably gonna record it. What are some typical reasons that the visa officer could deny or refuse your case or just delay it? Okay, we're gonna record that hopefully by next week or so. All right. So I'm not going to be live on YouTube or Facebook next week because I'm going to be out of town on a trip in California, actually. So if y'all in Cali, in San Diego, let me know. But I will try to go on TikTok live because that's just a lot easier to click a button. And I'm only going to have one phone. So sorry, Instagram. Let's see here. But if you do have TikTok and you're not following us here, welcome to what's it called? Follow us at greencardguys_John. Okay. Let's see here. So Musa on YouTube, you said you've been waiting for your. I think you mean to say you've been waiting for your. I'm assuming green card based on work sponsorship since August 2022, or maybe you mean for residency sponsorship. Okay, maybe it's interview, but if you can let us know, Musa. But yeah, August 2022, folks. That's now June 2023. Okay, so if you are abroad or you're in America, and then you maybe, Musa, you're here on an H-1B and you have 45 on file. Okay, work permit. You're waiting for work permit. But yeah, if others are in a situation where it's waiting for the green card or the actual visa, whether you're in the United States or outside America, it's probably close to time to file a lawsuit. Okay, so you definitely want to get your mind ready, because the more that you delay, then the longer it's going to take to get your status, right? Your legal status. Now, most people, they are not sure on whether they can file a mandamus lawsuit, and that's okay. We're happy to help you. Just schedule a consultation, talk to our CARES team. They have a list of, what we call our time frame to file a lawsuit. And some people might be a little early. Now, if you just filed your case last month, and it's a little early, I think it's way early, okay? And of course, I know a lot of people are anxious, ready to get their status so they can move on, pay the taxes in America. You got to do it. Failure to pay taxes, you won't become a U.S. citizen. Keep that in mind, all right? So, Hakaran, you are asking why F4 dates are not moving yet, because they're not being prioritized. I hate to say it, but I mean, it's hard for the government to prioritize when they don't have as many visa officers working, right? So as you can imagine, employment-based cases and also marriage cases are being prioritized. Okay, and marriage cases meaning married to a U.S. citizen versus fiance visa. We get calls like this, consultations, practically every week about this as well. And mandamus lawsuit. People wondering, should I go fiance visa or, based on marriage? Absolutely, 99.9% marriage-based case. Okay, you got to be married. So hot tip here is that we'll talk more about this in a couple weeks, but hot tip is that you can get married remotely. Like say you don't have money to go visit each other, it's okay. USCIS acknowledges and has approved cases for those people who have been approved through a remote virtual marriage, meaning even the US citizen doesn't have to travel to Utah County, Utah State. As far as we know, that's the only county in America that allows remote marriage. And even though, so you might think it's strange, especially if you're abroad, you're wondering, how the hell is this possible? The United States of America, the federal government, does not control or have authority on issuing marriage licenses. It's based not necessarily on the state, it's actually based on the local government, the county. Okay. So in some states, I think maybe like Massachusetts doesn't call it a county. I think maybe it's called like township or something. So there's some states like that, but generally most states in America are local government is called county. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Okay, Musa, your question is, okay, yours is based on a marriage green card case, it looks like. And okay, yeah, you filed for work permit. My goodness. Okay, so Musa, you want to do one thing first, and that is probably consider filing or requesting expedite request through USCIS for your work permit, 765. You know, if it's a job loss, we've had expedite requests granted by USCIS because you had some kind of proof of job loss. Now, when you contact them, they're not going to ask for proof in the moment, but you know, I believe it's about like, you know, after you call in, submit an inquiry, or we can try that website chat. They call Emma. It's a real human, but they just call it Emma for short. And you know, I think it's like 7 days or something, a week or so later, they'll email you and say, oh, you got to fax in some proof. But they don't actually require proof all the time. Okay. So we try not to file lawsuits based on work permit because we recommend expedite request first. There's any way that we try to save you money, even from paying us or government money, we love to do that. Okay. Because we really believe there's sometimes in some scenarios there are ways to help you, like in this scenario for Musa. And then, but for your marriage case in general, Musa, sounds like you filed a case in general as a whole together in August 2022. So yeah, I mean, some cases, most of our cases that were filed late last year, 2022, and this year for marriage cases have been approved without a waiver. Okay. But yours filed, you know, let's say like early fall last year. So yours, even if you get it approved without a waiver, it might be part of the quote unquote backlog. Okay. I don't want to cause concern in that sense, but it's still less than 12 months. Okay. So hold tight in that sense for the actual entire case for the 485. But now you know what to do for the 765. So go ahead and talk to Emma on the uscs.gov website for the website chat. Okay. Good luck on that. We also have a free guide about it, about expedite request and mandamus. So just go to our website about that. Okay. Oh, okay. You're planning to change from asylum case to marriage case. So first tip there, Musa, is don't touch your asylum case. Don't withdraw it yet. Okay. We typically recommend that later on. Okay. Because you still want to preserve your the stoppage of the counting accruing of the unlawful presence. So hopefully you filed your asylum application 589 on time, timely is what we call it, before the 1 year mark of your entry in the United States. By the way, folks, appreciate the hearts, the likes. Smash a like button. I think in TikTok, you just tap the screen or something. I don't know how you do it on Instagram. Maybe it's the same thing, just tapping it. Greatly appreciate it. I don't know anything about this algorithm thing, but if you can do that for us, we greatly appreciate it. So somehow I could share the video to others who may have immigration questions. This whole social media thing is kind of strange because somehow if you type in or search or even verbally say something about immigration, somehow they know it, right? That's kind of nuts. But I guess that's our payment for these free social media apps. All right, so be careful of that, of course. Let's see. So what is the waiting time? back to your question, what is the waiting time? So let's say you file the case next month. Let's assume that you're already married, Musa. Then in general, currently the trend is in 2023 with the Biden administration for marriage adjustment of status cases, which means you're living, the foreign national beneficiary is currently living in the United States, then average 3 to 5 months approved without a waiver. I'm sorry, approved without an interview because it's waived. Now, if you do receive an interview, it's okay. At least for our team, we prep you for it. We prepare you. Okay. I mention this almost every day. At least one thing I learned in law school is the 3 P's: preparation, preparation, preparation. Go figure. Okay. So, you definitely want to be prepared for the marriage interview, even if you pick our pro plan, which does not include in person interview representation. We still prepare you for the interview. Okay. So it's very important to us. But yeah, even if you have an interview and somehow it's not on track, generally speaking, the average timing is 12 months for the interview after filing your case. Another hot tip, Musa, is that if you're filing this case in the United States for adjustment status, you want to provide your medical exam results. It's on the form 693. And that's honestly one of the first things I would do after you get married. Okay. They waived the 60-day rule, meaning they used to have a policy rule that said you had to get your medical exam within 60 days of you filing a case. I thought that was ridiculous. They finally got rid of it. I don't see what the policy reason was for that. So I think they finally figured that out after so many years. Let's see here. Okay, well, let's see if I have any. Anyway, yeah, if you have any questions in the future, that's okay. Maybe a little shy today. I do see one more that from Hakaran. Your F. Okay, I think I did answer that. Yeah, F4. Yeah, they're prioritizing marriage cases abroad as well. Yeah, and just in general, family preference or employment-based preference categories on the visa bulletin. So just based on a percentage per classification, or some people might call it like a category. All right, so hang tight. Okay, if you got a case that's abroad, just keep checking. Even if you got a family member or employer who say they're checking it, if you're the foreign national, check it yourself. Okay, don't depend on the sponsor to do that for you, because especially like if an aunt or uncle filed for you, they don't have time. They might not even know about the visa bulletin. But if you're live, you're watching our videos, now you know about it. So no excuse. Check every month. All right, even if it's 10 years away. Because yeah, we hear about bad story, or I guess you could call it bad story, because some people call us and they say, "Oh shoot, it's been like a year or more since it's been ready." You might be out of luck. Most people that call us has definitely been way more than a year. And they're like, "Oh shoot, I think something should be going on with the case. That's way too late. You got to refile it." Okay. All right, Mendo, you said your waiver has been pending 31 months. Anything you can do? I think I replied to your comment before, possibly, because that sounds familiar. But yeah, 31 months, even though the processing timetable may say 36 months or 40 plus months. If I posted it like that the other day, you can still file a lawsuit even before the time period on the timetable, because the uscs.gov website, the processing time schedule there, it's I don't know if I want to call it made up, but it's their way of preventing you from submitting inquiry to USCIS. They're basically saying, chill out, don't submit inquiry, because the more inquiries, more requests, they're going to have to respond to you. And sometimes when they respond to inquiry by email, it's just a bunch of bullcrap anyway. It's just like, okay, your case is still processing normally. They don't give you much information. So a lawsuit in this situation is the way to go. Now you might wonder, like, well, some people might wonder, well, can I file a lawsuit at any time? No. There's some scenarios, like let's say you file a waiver and it's been like 3 months, file a petition, it's been 3 months. No, it's too early. Okay. They go based on what we call unreasonable delay. So 3 months is still reasonable. Okay, Mendo, but you say 31 months for your case. That is not reasonable. So it's time to sue the government. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Give us a call. I think I can say this out loud on TikTok. They're pretty strict on, like, we can't, apparently they say we can't, they don't say it, but can't share a number in like text form on TikTok. So our number is, we got a bunch of numbers, but the one you can use is 720-740-4247, or just go to our website, greencardguys.com, and you can find our number there as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I got to get back to work in other team meetings, and I'll see you on today's Friday. I'll see you on TikTok at least next week. For y'all on YouTube and everywhere else, Instagram, I'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. You all have a great day. Take care.